seeing monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat.
Right, so YouTube, can you see me? Can you see me? Good morning and welcome back to another episode 6 of the Quarantine series. I am steaming off cardio. We've just wrapped up half an hour. Half an hour seems to be cutting it at the minute, but I think over the next kind of week, this is the second week of the cut. So I think over the next week, well not the next week, but the final week, the 3-week mark of the cut, I think I'm going to increase the cardio up to 45 minutes just to put me in a bigger deficit. That is all obviously depending on if I'm still losing weight next week. I am this week. We didn't get a new low weigh in this morning, but it was 0.3 or 4 pounds off the lowest weighing of the cut so far. So we're still on track, we're still doing good. Like I said, I've just wrapped up cardio. I'm about to go and get some breakfast. Before we get into this video, do me a massive favour, hit that like button below, hit subscribe if you are new to the channel, because looking at the analytics, a lot of you who watch the videos aren't actually subscribed. So do me a favour, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and yeah, let's get in another day. Another dollar! Here's today's breakfast: 5 eggs and 70 grams of oats. You can't really see them, but they've got white chocolate powder and protein powder. So here we have the next meal. How many grams of potatoes?
200.
200 grams of potatoes. Right, just before I eat these, Mum, what is your secret with potatoes? What do you do?
Just a bit of oil in the pan and then some of that
Caribbean jerk style seasoning with piri piri.
That's it.
And these taste absolutely incredible.
Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you tell me you learn, when the chaos is rising, I'm leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your only.
Right, so YouTube, we have a parcel. Where's my knife? No knife, so we're going to have to rip it open. Yeah, we've got a parcel from Amazon. I bought this Saturday, it's now Monday, and it said that it was going to come on the 12th of May. But thankfully it's came a lot earlier. So what we bought is something to kind of boost productivity. I don't have a whiteboard, so I've been using kind of this old drawing board that I stole from school many years ago, but the pen doesn't come off it and it looks terrible. So I decided to just buy a proper whiteboard. So that's what we've got. We've got a little mini whiteboard just to kind of like map out what I'm going to do for the week. So like I had been doing on here before the pen didn't come off anymore, I'm just going to draw like a little every day of the week thing in a little column just to write what I need to do that day to box everything off and just get everything done. So this is my new little 30 by 40 centimetre whiteboard. I hate these little cellophane. Right, now we're going to train chest, so I will see you in the gym to smash a decent chest workout. I've just finished up my monster, so it's time to get it. See you in the gym in 3, 2.
When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side. You know I'll come running when you need. I'm coming. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army.
Right. YouTube. I'm going to wrap that chest workout up there. That was a very, very, very taxing chest workout. For all, I've only done 3 exercises. I hope I'm on the camera. For all, I've only done 3 exercises. Everything I've done has been so controlled, like focusing on the contraction, but also focusing on the eccentrics. I've been doing like 3-second negatives on everything, and like pretty much isometric hold at the top of every movement, which has literally just completely burnt my chest out. My chest hasn't felt this good in a long, long time. Now, a few of you are probably thinking, what the hell is an isometric hold? But basically, an isometric hold is just you hold, how to describe it without sounding like patronising. Basically what you do is you hold a contraction without kind of moving the joint. So say if you were going to do, like at the start when I was doing the bench press and I was supersetting that with an isometric hold, that's what this thing was, by the way. The muscle isn't moving, like the joint is not moving there, but the pecs are fully contracted and that is burning like hell. So basically the muscle is just contracted without moving. I'm going to have to stop. And believe it or not, it's actually really, really taxing, especially to do in between your sets. So for example, on the bench press, I was doing them in between sets. I was doing 3 sets of 6-second isometric holds in between my sets on bench press. And it fried my chest. My chest is actually on fire. It feels amazing. So if you haven't tried them, give them a go. If you're going to do them on a chest day, supersetted with bench press like I was doing there, rotate your wrists outward, because that extra movement actually forces the pec to kind of contract even more. So give that a try. That was brutal. I'm dripping with sweat. Enjoy them. They are really, really good. Now it's time to eat because I am starving. I've got another potato and chicken meal. You have already seen the potatoes. I showed you them earlier on. I just cooked double this morning. So yeah, we're going to go and get that meal. Right, so YouTube, I forgot to record that last meal, but it was pretty much the same as the meal that you saw before that. So now we have 100 grams of blueberries, which I was supposed to have with my breakfast, but I forgot to have them. So we're getting these in now. Because health. Right, YouTube, I hope you can actually see me, and I hope it isn't too dark. But earlier, take a minute, Joe. Start again. You can do this. I believe in you. Put the glasses on. You'll seem cleverer. Clean the glasses first. Right. So earlier on in today's video, I mentioned that I was going to do a little kind of brief talk. It is only going to be brief because I don't want to bore you. A lot of you will know this information. Some of you will not know this information, but it might help somebody. So that's why we're going to do it. Did you hear that? Right. First of all, I found this today and it has become very, very addictive. Did anybody else used to have a PSP when they were younger? It's still brilliant. I haven't got an Xbox or anything, but I can see that taking up some of my time. Number 2, we are going to go on to, this is something I prepared earlier, reasons not to rely on the scales. So, I mentioned that I was weighing myself every single day. You have been seeing it on my in my morning routine. I write down my weight, I get weighed in, I write it down, I show you it in the notebook. For kind of the bodybuilding industry, that is normal. People who watch bodybuilders, people who are kind of into that sort of scene, know that that's just a normal thing for bodybuilders to do when they're on a contest prep. It allows them to see how things are going day by day. But for the people who are just aren't that deep into the fitness industry, people who are just maybe new to the industry, or people who are on a weight loss journey themselves, not like a competition prep or anything like that, people who are just actually on like a weight loss journey and don't have the background knowledge to why people who compete in things actually weigh themselves every day, I thought I would give you 4 reasons why not to rely on the scales, because it can be detrimental. It can create some mental health issues, or it can create some issues weighing yourself every single day if you aren't mentally prepared, or you don't mentally know the reasons behind it, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to jump over there. Actually no, the lighting's better here. Right, let me just move the camera and then we'll get into these 4 tips. Right, so I think I should be in focus. But reason number 1. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. In fact, you probably won't be able to see it, so I'm going to put the whiteboard up here and I'm just going to read them off. Reason number 1. Scales measure weight loss, not fat loss. Now, this can mean a whole different thing. When you lose weight, it can be from many different it can be many different things. It could literally be as simple as you went to the toilet and you lost some weight. It can be you're losing fat, which is, I'm guessing if you're weighing yourself, that is possibly a good thing and possibly one of your goals. It could be that you are building muscle, so your weight is actually increasing. It could be many different things. So it's important to remember that scales measure weight loss, not fat loss. If you don't see the scales go down, it doesn't mean you aren't burning fat, it doesn't mean you aren't losing fat. It just means that your weight hasn't decreased, which can be through water, can be through many of the points which we are about to bring up. So, tip number 2. I can't remember what I've actually wrote down, so I'm going to have to check it. Yes, right, so water weight is one of the factors that is going to be shown if you weigh yourself every day. You're going to notice that some days the weight is higher, and that could be down to water weight. So your water weight will fluctuate daily, and it all depends on the salt that you had the previous day. So you might think like, oh, well, I didn't put any salt on my food, but if you're having food that you haven't prepared, it's not all like fresh food, there is going to be salt in that food. A lot of foods have got salt added to them to kind of preserve it. It helps preserve meats and things like that. So a lot of food will have salt in it, dietary salt, which you possibly, unless you're reading labels, or unless you're cooking everything from fresh, you won't know that. So you will not know how much salt is in there unless you are checking the labels. Salt will inevitably cause you to hold more water weight, which is something that could affect you if you step on the scales the next day and you see that your weight hasn't changed, or the following week you could have had a salty meal before you got weighed in the following day, and you will be a little bit heavier because you are holding more water because you had a salty meal the night before. So just bear that in mind. It's not ideal, but bear it in mind, right? Tip number 3, glycogen levels also, or glycogen stores also vary daily depending on what you ate the previous day. So for me, as you can see, if you're paying attention to the notebook, I get a new low weigh-in every, the day after I've had a low calorie day, and that's because I'm only having 60 grams of carbs on that day, and I'm training and I'm doing cardio. So my glycogen stores, your body basically stores carbohydrates as glycogen. Just to kind of break it down a little bit for you, but your body stores carbohydrates as glycogen and it uses that for fuel. So if you are, when I have a low calorie day and I'm having 60 grams of carbs, I don't recommend doing that, by the way, but that is what my plan is at the minute. When I do that, the following day I normally get a new low weigh-in, and that is because my glycogen stores are pretty much depleted. I haven't added any more in, and I've used up everything that I've got in them glycogen stores through the workout and through the cardio. So glycogen stores will also pay an effect or have a play on your scale weight. Let's check the camera hasn't died because I've got a feeling it's going to. Right, I am back. My camera was literally about to die, so I put it on charge for like 20 minutes. Yeah, we have got the last meal of the day, and we are also on to the last little kind of reason why not to rely on the scales. So this point is probably not likely for somebody like myself, who has been training a long time, has been resistance training a long time. This probably isn't likely for me, but if you are a beginner to resistance training, you're more susceptible, is that the right word? I don't think that is the right word. You are more likely to get like those newbie gains. In some circumstances you can even get those newbie gains whilst losing fat. But for a more experienced lifter, if you're natural, that is very, very unlikely to happen. But when you are a beginner, you can actually make some gains whilst losing fat. But for somebody like myself, that probably isn't the case. Chances are I am just losing weight now. When I'm in a deficit, I'm not really going to build much muscle. I'm just going to maintain the muscle that I've got. But for like a newer lifter kind of thing, if you see the scale weight go up and you're kind of expecting it to go down, you could have actually gained muscle. You haven't gained fat, you could have gained muscle, which we all know that muscle is heavier than fat, but that isn't a bad thing. So that is just another reason why not to rely on the scales. But I thought since I am stepping on the scales every single morning and I'm recording it and putting it on YouTube, I thought I better clarify. I felt like it was my duty to clarify that that isn't, you don't have to do that at all, and I thought I might as well outline some of the reasons why that isn't optimal. I'm only doing that because I know what's happening. I know the science behind what's happening every day when I step on the scales. Pretty much, like, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert, but I am a qualified PT. I do know what's happening with my body. But somebody who isn't as experienced as me or doesn't have that kind of knowledge may just step on the scales, see me stepping on the scales every morning and get themselves down if their weight isn't changing. So I wanted to clarify that up. This video is probably really long now, and I'm sorry that it is. I just had to put this in at the end because I needed to kind of say that. I know I touched on it in the last video, but I've went more in depth here. So we're going to end the video here. I hope you have liked it. Let me know what you thought of this kind of educational bit at the end. Probably something that I'm not going to do in every video because it takes a lot of time, and I know a lot of my subscribers are people who are either bigger than me, leaner than me, or kind of the same par as me knowledge wise and stuff. So a lot of you might not need this, but some of you might have needed that. So let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed that little educational bit. Subscribe if you're new. I'm going to drink this last meal, which is just 50 grams of protein. We've got the white chocolate one, because that could potentially be my new favourite flavour. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to start editing this video and start recording the next one in the morning with what isn't going to be a new low weigh-in, because the last 2 days have been a moderate day. So I'm not going to get a new low weigh-in in the morning. But I know that, and I'm predicting that now, so that's already in my head. See you guys in the morning, or you know what I mean. New video coming, not tomorrow but the next day.